We're live.
Got it.
Okay, got it. So good evening, everyone. Happy to be back today with Paddy. Hi, Paddy. Welcome
Hi,
again.
Mohammad. Nice to be back on our third and final session here of our GPS. We've done goals. We've done paradigms. Now let's do this self-image and see how that can help people on our Facebook audience as well as our Zoom audience, how we can turn it all back around to making the goals come true.
Absolutely.
Come to reality.
Yeah. This is the whole idea. The whole idea for those 3 days, we want to link each topic with one thing, so at least people can start really working on their goals. They understand what is holding them back, how the self-image is really playing a big role for achieving their goal, and what they can do next to start realizing their goals. Today is also an interesting topic on a personal level because I love it about the self-image. The moment I start understanding how that self-image really works, the more I understand sometimes when things are not working with me, what the heck am I telling myself about myself? Because this is the important thing. It's your own perception about yourself. So I will start with a story, and that was before maybe a couple of years. This is from the book Psycho-Cybernetic of Dr. Maxwell Maltz. He's talking about a student who committed a suicide in the university. He was 24 years old, and the article in the magazine shows inferiority complex caused by long nose drives college student to commit suicide. So it was shocking for everyone who knows that student, because he's okay. There is nothing, but the moment they start reading what's called his letter before he committed suicide, it's really heartbreaking. So what he wrote to the world: when I was a child, other children abused me and mistreated me because I was weaker and uglier than they. I was a sensitive, bashful boy and was teased because of my face and long nose. The more they offended me, the more they teased. I became afraid of people. I knew that many of them hated me for things I was not responsible for, my sentimental nature and my appearance. I was unable to speak to anyone. My confidence was gone. A teacher spelled my name with 2 F's. His name is Hoffman, so it's spelled one, but his teacher spelled it 2 F's. Although it has only one, yet I became so backward, I was unable to correct her. You can see how that lack of confidence and low self-esteem, and therefore spelled it with 2 F throughout my school career. God, forgive everyone for this. I am afraid of the world, but I'm not afraid to die. This is really a heartbreaking story when you read it, and because of his own self-image, how he started taking in his own perception about himself. He started making assumptions that everyone was, has a strong hate for him. Nobody likes him. Although it wasn't like that. People who were surrounded with him, it's the other way. They talk to him and so on. But he started building that picture about himself. He became introvert. avoiding people talking to them. So this is how much is the self-image. And I will go back to what we discussed yesterday, Paddy, about the paradigm. When you start describing about the conscious and the subconscious, and when you mention about the subconscious, it says your nervous system, which is subconscious, cannot tell the difference between an image experience and a real one. Your nervous system reacts appropriately to what you think or imagine to be true. And this guy, Hoffman, he was seeing things as a true. Nobody likes him. Everyone is hating him, and so on, blah, blah. So maybe I'll ask you a question, Pat, because you're doing a lot of coaching for people, for communication and leadership. Can you share some of those stories?
Well, I certainly can. I mean, do you know you have your camera off there, Mr. Sabri?
Oh, my apologies.
I'm the only one with my mug on. There you are. There you are.
Oh, I didn't know why it was switched off, but that's good. Sorry.
You know, we see this. I had a friend, not a client, but a friend, who she had been called morbidly obese. She was so overweight. And she did a tremendous self-discipline. It took her about 1.5 years, and she lost about half of her body weight. And do you know, she still believed that she was as heavy as she was before she started on the diet. And we used to say to her, look at you, what are you talking about? And even when we'd get like a skirt that she had worn at her heaviest and we'd make her put it on, and there was like, there's this much space. She said, you don't understand. I still see myself that way because I still feel that way. Maltz himself talked about, repair. I remember when I first read the book many years ago, or maybe I saw him in an interview, I don't remember, but I remember the story of a man who had what we call Dumbo ears, terrible, like elephant ears, the ears that stuck out. And so he trimmed the ears and brought the ears closer to the man's head. And the man could not see. He accused Dr. Maltz of charging him and not doing the surgery. And yet any one of us who saw the before and after, there was absolutely no doubt that a major reconstructive surgery on the ears had been done. So it's not unheard of. And so a lot of times, there's in North America, especially, they have these diet shows, The Biggest Loser and all kinds. And it is very common, perhaps 50% of the time, that when people lose, or Bob doesn't like us to say lose the weight because we always go to try to find whatever it is we lose. But when they shift their weight, they don't see it. It's just a shocking thing. This self-image is so powerful, and it comes from all those paradigms and all of those experiences. This is a very tragic story, a big nose, and I'll bet you any money his nose probably wasn't that big.
No, to us.
But we get obsessed, and women do this, as women, I think, more than men, around our body issues. When I was a young skater and training for Olympics, which is as in figure skating, image is really important. You can't be heavy, you just gotta have a certain look. And we got weighed every Sunday morning. And if we gained anything, we had to pay money. I mean, we were teenagers, imagine. And I spent my entire youth thinking I was fat. And I look at those pictures now, and there is no fat. I was an almost Olympic athlete, and I had long legs. There was no fat. And it wasn't until I was at least 45 or 50. I look at those pictures. I remember my mom had a photo album, and I looked and I said, is that me? And my mom said, like, of course, who do you think it is? I said, I wasn't fat. And she said, no, you weren't fat at all. Why are you saying that? I was horrified, shy. I would not stand up in a crowded room. If I were in a restaurant or someplace and I had to go to the ladies' room, I would not walk across the room to go to the ladies' room because I felt so self-conscious about being fat. And I look at those pictures. I mean, now I'm an old lady. And when I had that beauty, I didn't see it. I imagine that. I feel like I spent 25 years of my life not liking my self-image because I bought into, you've gained 2 pounds, that'll be $5. Where our purses got checked out, we had to empty our purses and our skating bags to see if there was any chocolate, and we were kids. It's one reason why I stopped coaching young top competitive skaters, because there was no way I was going to put those girls on scales. There's no way that I was going to empty out their purses to see what were they eating, because of the damage that it had done to me. So it permeates us, and it really affects the way in which we move in the world. And I look back, as I say now, I'll never forget the day my mom brought out that photo album. And I actually asked her if it was me. She thought, like, what, are you drunk? What are you talking about? Of course it's you. But I'm not fat. You were never fat, Paddy.
Wow. So, I mean, your story really is interesting because the way you describe it, this is an image you built in your mind, and unconsciously you start taking certain actions that, because you see yourself as fat, although you are not, you start avoiding to walk from one place to another so the other ladies, girls don't see you. What? Are you crazy? But hey, I mean, you can see how that really self-image, the way you see yourself, is really can control everything in your life. And maybe this is one of the things that brought the Dr. Maxwell Maltz, because he is a plastic surgeon. I mean, he never worked on those psycho-cybernetics or anything. He was doing those plastic surgery. So some people, the moment he do a minor change, their confidence, self-esteem goes up. He's happy and so on. And others, he do like the guy with those big ears. He did a huge change, and there is nothing, and they're still complaining. So it was for him like a surprise. What the heck? Is people are seeing them different than what the outside world see them? And this is what brought him to this topic about, there's a two image, and the one that really control all our actions and interaction with the world is our own self-image, our perception about ourselves.
Yeah. And so if we're not, it can be changed, but it cannot be changed from the outside. You can have all the cosmetic surgery in the world. You can lose as much weight as ever, but if you do not make the adjustment inside, and that's what this program is about, and that's what this lesson is about, is making that change from the inside out, because you could lose the weight, still see yourself as fat. But if you can work on changing that self-image to where you, and as Bob says, take from people who you really like. Don't compare yourself to them. You don't want to compare. But as he says, he studied with Bill Gove. He watched Bill Gove. He watched Billy Graham. He watched Earl Nightingale, three of the greatest speakers. And he picked up that trait and he picked up that trait. I was telling Seema earlier today, I'm reading again for the millionth time, As a Man Thinketh. And I'm really loving the chapter on serenity. So because I've been away from Canada for 2 years. It's been sometimes upside down. There's been difficulty, and I lose my serenity. Now, when I was a meditation teacher, I was like this little guru. Nothing ever upset me. But I find now I can get impatient. I don't like this. So I'm back now reading this book, because as a man thinketh, as we think, so will we become. And that chapter on serenity. So now in my daily writings, I'm so happy and grateful that I am serene and calm. Now, somebody could bother me an hour later and I could be, what do they think they are talking to me like? I'm so happy and grateful now because it's a practice. But I know that I have that in me, that serenity and that calmness. I know because I've had it before. And I know how to handle my stress in a very serene and calm way. But now you put me in a foreign culture, and sometimes culture shock makes you kind of dizzy. And there's stress you just don't understand. And it's very easy to get knocked out. And if I'm not careful, my cybernetic unit will not bring me back to calm unless I create that in me through conscious mind, choosing to practice acting, as Stella Adler would say, acting like I'm serene. So today I had a situation that bothered me. It bugged me. Somebody in my life is just treating me not well. Just stupid stuff. And it happened again. And there I was storming around my flat. And then I said, pick up that book and read that chapter again. And I did. Because I was on, my psycho-cybernetic was about to go over here, and I could have wasted hours being annoyed at something that is just so stupid. So it's a conscious thing. I'm showing my dirty laundry here, as we say, but I mean, I'm human, and we're all human, and none of us are. Yes, we have perfection within us, and we're moving towards that perfection, but we have to learn how to do it. So I love the exercise of right in the present tense. I am so happy and grateful now for the return of serenity to my life. I mean, I write it every day. It's good for my nervous system. It's good for me. I'm more productive. But it has to be conscious, because somehow through frustration, fear, culture shock, homesickness, all of that, I've shifted away from it. And now I have to be patient and bring myself back to it. And it is conscious.
Very nice. Very nice. So one of the great things also about how this self-image really works and function, it's similar to the thermostat in a way that, just to explain how if you're sitting in a room and you have the AC on set at a certain temperature, and if the room gets warm, you will see the AC will be running till it reaches to that temperature, then switch off. Or if it is getting too cold, immediately it will wait, switch off till it goes up. It depends for that one. So in a way, it works in an automatic adjusting how that temperature should be set. Now, this is similar how that self-image really works. And this is why people really to understand how it functions. One of the examples they're mentioning in that book is about, let's say you have a student with a poor grades, let me say average, below average grades. His parents or her parents are not happy about the performance, and they decided he should be stay at home, no games, nothing at all, just study. They brought some help for him, a tutor to teach him, and so on. So his grades start going up. Parents were happy, pleased, because grades are going up. So this is what we did, this is an excellent. Then after a while, they found out again, the grades are coming back as normal, as before. So what is the heck happens there? And simply because we always say, you need to go to the root cause of that problem. And
Exactly.
this is his self-image. That kid was always seeing him as an average student. Like your friend, she was seeing herself overweight. Although things has changed, but still that picture still in her mind. And this is for that student. This is how he feel comfortable with that image. And this is how it started adjusting. He became back to his old image, which he feel comfortable as a below average student. And this is how that self-image works. So people need to understand, if now I always, we can link it back to the goals. If you're setting a goal, let's say you want to be like Paddy, a coach. So you need to think that coach, how the way he talks, walks, thinks, dress. Then you start, building that image, trying to be like that person you want to become. So this is a general guidelines. So what is your experience, Paddy, about how people really can develop their self-image, what they need to do?
Well, I think every night this week, we've been talking about how important it is to take a really honest inventory of yourself, to look at your paradigms, to look at these, the feelings, whether you come through a paradigm, understanding it through thought, as you often do, or a feeling as I do. I think that it's a journey of getting to know yourself. And when we look at why people don't achieve their goals, it is because they cannot really see themselves achieving the goal. Oh, it's a worthy goal. It's a big goal, but underlying it all, yeah, I don't really see myself there. We have to, when Maxwell Maltz says that the self-image actually sets the parameters or the boundaries of our success or our failure. And we really have to take a look at that. So, if we are constantly unhappy, we need to take a look at that. How are we seeing ourselves? And when we got to do a deep dive, this work, as you know, is not shallow work. In order to grow, in order to access that perfection that is in each one of us, and I don't mean be perfect, it's not about being perfect, it's about accepting that inside of us, our spiritual DNA is perfect just the way we are. We need to move into that self-acceptance, that self-love. It doesn't matter if my nose is too long. It doesn't matter if I'm a little bit overweight. We have to get there and stop allowing the external circumstances dictate the way that we move in the world. So I think for me, and as a coach, I was taught a long time ago, you make your mess your message. You take your life and you use it as the message, because I am not special. I am just one other human being knocking around on the planet trying to do a good job. And I am not perfect. And I'm in the same struggle as my clients. Yes, I have lots of experience. So I have techniques and tools that perhaps they don't have, because I've been studying and doing this for so long. But I think, that we've got to have a clear image, because everything is done in image. The way we process language, if I say, don't think of a table, your ears don't hear, your brain hears. And you're right here, she said table. You see a table, you see a table. And then you hear, oh, don't see a table. But you first see, if that's the way we process everything, is visually. So we've got to really be honest and proactive about how do I see myself. So if I want to achieve that goal, I think I told you, this is in doing this very exercise about a year ago when I was living in Oman. And I relaxed, as Bob said, just relax and allow the vision to come of who I am when I accomplish my goal. And there was this very serene, calm woman living in a lovely flat by the ocean in Oman. and people were coming to visit me, and I was watching how was I behaving, what did I look like, what was my body language, what was I wearing. I had on this beautiful navy blue abaya with a white dress underneath and a beautiful necklace. And I loved watching this woman that was me. And the house was beautifully furnished, and the ocean, the sea was right there, and just everything that I wanted to see in myself, I could see her there. And it's so incredible because shortly thereafter, two things happened. I came up to Dubai and I met a woman who was interested. At that point, I thought I needed a sponsor to come into UAE. And so I met this woman, and did she not show up in the meeting with the same navy blue abaya, with the white dress, even the same necklace?
Wow.
So that was like, oh, okay, that, but not only that, before I made that trip, I had gone to the shop and I bought a navy blue abaya with the white dress, and I did not find the necklace. So I also had the same outfit. Now, here's the thing. I wanted to move, as you know, move myself from Oman into Dubai, and I'm a professional speaker. And the woman with the navy blue abaya got me some speaking work. And so I showed up in my navy blue abaya with my white dress underneath. And I believe one of the reasons why I have been so successful in Dubai in such a short period of time is because I came to the work dressed exactly as that woman that I saw who I thought was successful. And so there's a meditation I often do now with my clients. And when I speak to women, I get them to imagine who is their big goal. And then I ask them to close their eyes and see that woman. Exactly, what is she wearing? How is her family? What's the house? What's her smile? Really take a look. And I'm watching them, and their face is just like that. But then I say, okay, now we go deep into the meditation, and I imagine that they're sitting there in a beautiful place and they're relaxed. And they notice someone coming towards them. And they don't really know who it is, but they keep watching. And there it is, it's her, it's them in that beautiful, successful image. And I ask them to invite that woman to sit down. And I say, now, ask your successful, beautiful self for 3 pieces of advice that she could say to you. And this is where my women client tears start to come as they hear from themselves in the guided meditation state. Always, the successful woman says, always, I'm so proud of you. Look at what you have accomplished. Look at the obstacles. See, I could cry even talking about, and I watch the women meditating, and they're tears, but they're not sad tears. And they change after that exercise because they get to see themselves just as they see themselves in their dreams, and they get to talk to her, and she talks to them, and she coaches them. It's one of the most powerful, powerful meditation exercises that I've ever done with any of my clients. I did it not long ago in Sharjah. It was breast cancer week. And most of the women there were breast cancer survivors in various stages of no hair or partial mastectomy, full mastectomy. And to see themselves this way, I will always remember till the day I die, watching the beauty on these women as they saw themselves and listened to themselves get that advice from their beautiful, successful self. It's a very moving. So we have to, we have to do it consciously. We have to be in a state of deep relaxation to really, because to train the subconscious mind, it's about the feeling. If you want to change that paradigm, you can't just do it with words. Got to get a feeling. And when we want to build that self-image, we've got to see ourselves, and it's got to feel good so that tomorrow we'll wake up and say, and the truth is now they can close their eyes at any moment and call that beautiful person who is themselves right back and close their eye, come to me, tell me again, and boom, they have the feeling. And When we get that feeling, we take different action. And when we take that positive action, we get a new result. And before you know it, we have changed our self-image to become who we are meant to be. Gee, I give long answers. I'm so sorry.
No, this was very good. Very good. I like the story, really. And I really like it because about that self-image, seeing yourself as the success person. And it's happening. You're right. The moment you dress like that, unconsciously, because you in that dress and that image, you start seeing yourself a successful person. So you start speaking with power, assertive, and confidence. So people can see it. Oh, she's really different. So this is how that, self-image, imagination, how it starts impacting the way you talk, you walk, and dress, and so on. Yeah, very, very nice. I like really your example. Thank you, Paddy. Thank you.
Yeah, I encourage all of us to do it, and please use it with your. I mean, men too. It's just that this happened to be, and as you know, I work an awful lot with women on self-image. So yeah, it works. It's good.
Very good. So maybe last question, just to wrap up, then we'll have some questions, maybe discussion with Seema. So how do you like to help people? We cover those GPS over the 3 days, the goals, paradigms, the self-image. How people can take it by learning what they had learned for a further step. So what thoughts do you have? What do you normally do with your clients, or we are doing with our clients? Maybe you can share also your interaction.
Well, if you could see my desk, which I'm really glad you can't, because there are so many books and notebooks. I am a really big fan of putting my pen in my hand and putting the ink on the paper and writing. Because we know you don't want to do it on your tablet or on your phone or on your computer, because there's a built-in editor. It underlines. You can't, that's not the right word, that's spelled wrong. No, we don't care about that. I have a journal. I have so many of them. I have a journal which is just what I want. It's in my purse right now because I was out earlier today, and I take it with me because you never know. You never know. So I write it down. What I want, what I want, what I want, what I want. Never focusing on what I don't want, because what I don't want is just an indicator or reminder that I need to focus on what I want. See, all of us, Mohammad, I think every one of us wants to live the life that we were put on the planet to live. I don't think anybody wants to live 50%. I think everybody wants to feel a sense of accomplishment and joy and what Maslow called self-actualization. We all want self-esteem. We all want a good image of ourselves. We just don't know how to do it. So to start with, I write goals. I write my wants, and that and my goal, that's all in one book. Then I have another little book where I do my image of myself. I'm so happy and grateful now that I do all of my visioning there. That's where I wrote me in the blue abaya, the navy blue abaya. So that's because they could all be in one book, but I'm a writer and I've been journal writing since I was 14. So I just love journals. We talked about this on the night of goals. People get goals and they get off and they're happy and they're excited. And then all of a sudden they get discouraged or the goal falls by the wayside. What's the best way to get back on track? Write it down. Write what I want. Write what I want, because then, yeah, right. That's what I want. And you get energized, because you can't write what you want and go, yeah, I really want to be successful. I mean, it doesn't work. If you're writing down, I want to be successful. I want to buy a new house. I want my children to go to the best schools. I want to serve. I want to be the best at my job that I can be. it just gives you, it's physics. This is what we always say. This is where the vibration comes in. Then you've got to do the self-image thing of seeing yourself already having accomplished that goal, what Neville Goddard called starting from the end, wishes fulfilled, which, as we know, Wayne Dyer took the wishes fulfilled and created an entire book about it. You have to see yourself as a successful person, having successfully accomplished. So, and then you've got, in my opinion, you've got to try to find like-minded people. You cannot hang around. I mean, we all have family members who say, you can't do that. Oh, here she goes dreaming again. We can't get away from them. We have to learn how to deal with them. But we can find friends who can kind of almost mastermind with us. So that when you say, like, I mean, here's a good example. I had two very dear friends in Vancouver. When I told them I was coming to the Middle East, one friend said, oh, your life is so exciting. You're always taking off. You're going to do great. And the other friend said, why do you always have to go? Why can't you just be happy in Vancouver? Now, the one that said, great, because she's a real dream catcher. And the one that's, why don't you do it? Because she's got paradigms. She doesn't do, she can't follow through on the dreams. It was very clear. So I choose as much as I can. And that's why we're in the mastermind, the 6 a.m. club every morning, to be with like-minded people. When you say, you know, I think I'm going to, they don't go, oh, that'll never happen. You have to find people who will dream with you. They can have their own dream. So that's really helpful. And then, of course, you know, yeah, you can always hire a coach. I mean, there are many people like you and me in the world. This program is highly recommended. I would recommend this program to anybody who wanted to move towards self-actualization. So there's a lot of things, but first of all, we can start on our own. We can visualize, we can meditate, we can practice serenity. We can do that. We can see ourselves successful. We can do that. And that's the best way, I think, to really help us to get the engine started, to get that energy going, to get the fuel going. So those are the things that I recommend, because we can't just say, yeah, I think today I'm going to believe in myself. It doesn't work that way. It has to be repetition, 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 over and over. I've got to say this. And then, oh yes, let me not forget the I am journal. I am. Every day. I don't always write them down. The other day I was on the metro. And I don't know, I just was doing my I ams in my head. And I can go on now, I can go all the way from my metro station down to Data City Center, just doing nothing but I ams. And that's about a 30-minute train trip. And every day, and especially on those days, because you know, my family is pretty much all gone. I just have my son and his wife. They're on the other side of the world. And there's times when I'm like, it's difficult. So I know I am strong. I am brave. I am fierce. And before you know it, by the time I get off the train, or by the time I finish writing, and I have a journal for this by my bed every night, I am, I am, I am. And I keep these little books handy so that when I get that urge, or when some thought comes in that's negative or defeating, I go, wait a second, wait a second. I am calm. This is my latest one. I am calm. I am serene. I'm in control of my thoughts. So it's just making new habits. You've got to, in my opinion, and Bob agrees with us, you have to write it down. You cannot just think it, because there's something that happens. Writing with a pen makes you think. And you're not editing. You're just stream of consciousness. Stream of consciousness writing is the heart and the soul writing. So what do you do?
For me, one of the great things I learned is about the persistence habit, I call it. And it covers many of the points you're doing it. And this is one of the great things I will explain how is it. It's a 4 steps, that persistence habits. This is, I use it with many of my clients, including my 2 sons, when they been enrolled to the US, because maybe some people knows about the story of them. So Simply what you explained, I start with a goal. And this is coming from Napoleon Hill about the persistence habit. Have a burning desire where you have a clear goal, what you want to do. So this is the start for me. So exactly every goal, I start with the clarity, what I wanted, and I build the desire more and more. So it's like this is the fuel for me to keep me going. And I use what the same way, that imagination, because it gets me immediately to the right vibration that keeps me that fuel going. Then the second thing is have a plan and start taking actions, because dreaming without an action, nothing will happen. At least you will start also, how do I say, strengthen your own belief and faith about what you're trying to achieve. And this is like a feedback. The third one is stop listening to naysayers, people who said, who are you? Whom do you think? You cannot sing. You have a nose. And so on and so on. So seal your mind from all of those naysayers. And the last, which was like your 6 a.m. club, have a like-minded people who will help you, support you to achieve your goal. This is how I applied it with my two sons the first year, where they missed to be able to join the U.S. For studying medicine. It's a lengthy process, frustration. I mean, it's a 365 days, 24 hours studying, then interviewing, then waiting, and so on. Then if you miss that date, it's just one chance you have to repeat again. So they were at a point to be depressed and they want to give up. I said, come on, guys, let's have it. So I started working with them, get the clarity, build that desire, and start taking daily actions. And I told them, don't listen to anyone, because there are many people, they think, oh, your grade is too low. You will never make it. Oh, you need to study this. It's only for US citizens. You cannot accept it. So I said, stop it. There is no rules that you cannot be accepted, because there are many people being studying and maybe having lower grades, or they're studying some specialty that it's not for US citizens. And I was like their buddy, the like-minded people, encourage them, work with them closely till they manage to get it. So this is, I found it, one of the great things is make sure you surround yourself with the right people really who can push you up, keep you on the hook, or let's say focus on your goal. And this is what I tried always when I do a coaching, try to get a group coaching, because I need to have them support each other to make sure they can achieve what they are looking for. Very good.
You know what I like about your answer? I mean, we talked a little bit about this last night. You come from engineering. That's your way of doing it. It works. I come more from this touchy-feely arty world. It works. It does. It's you must do it your way. It can be done, but it doesn't matter what it is. You're right. You got to put wood on the fire. You cannot have a fire if you don't have fuel. And nobody is going to come and put the fuel on the fire of your desire, only you. Nobody can change your self-image, only you. Whichever way you want to do it, there is no right or wrong way. There's just your way.
Absolutely.
And also, about being in the mastermind, it's not just about getting support. It's about giving support. This is one thing that I love about my 6 a.m. club, even though it's 8 a.m. in Dubai, 6 a.m. for those in Africa. There's as much to be gained by giving support and listening and supporting as there is by receiving their support. It's a beautiful give and take. And I think that that's also part of the vibration of giving and receiving. Giving and receiving. Now, Miss Seema, are you there with us? I'd like to hear, our other dear friend didn't show up. I'm sure we have people on Facebook. What are your thoughts now about what we've been discussing this evening? I'm so glad that
Yes.
you're doing this.
Hi, thank you for the session. I loved it very much, and I was able to connect to a lot of things that has been mentioned during this session. Actually, I do have it's sort of questions and comments about what Mr. Sabri just mentioned about these steps. And maybe the thing is that building the desire and keeping the desire, yani, talking about myself, I feel that is the challenging part I usually face, because I become excited and I want to do a change of my self, but maintaining that desire is one of the challenges I usually face, because in the beginning I encourage myself and I have a high desire, and I keep reminding myself, but it fades away with the time. So I find a challenge in maintaining the desire. So this is one comment I have. And another thing is about the self-image, especially if because I do know what are the things that I need to change, or I know what I want to be, but I think that journey is, I'm talking about myself, I feel it's a scary journey to cross. I mean, I would say from the current situation to the future person that I would like to be. And how can I manage myself to be keep myself on track and be consistent, and as you mentioned, that to keep that desire I mean awake until I reach my goal. I feel that journey is hard, and maybe about myself, I face a difficulty in maintaining that road map to the future person I want to be. So those are the main two comments I wanted to share.
Maybe I'll leave it to you, Paddy.
No, because you know what? She hears me all the time. I think she needs to hear from you. I know her work, and I know what she does for a living. And so I think this is a perfect question for you two to discuss.
Okay. I mean, for the desire, for me, normally I use really that meditation and imagination. This is what keeps me all the time. And I should, on a daily basis, be part of whatever daily I do, like eating. I need to do that meditation and visualization, because this is what remind me how the person I will become and what the things I will be giving to get what I want. So this is important for you to do it. And there's different tools and techniques we teach people through our programs, thinking into results, how they can build the right desire. It happens for us, one of the things also, you should be clear from the beginning, what do you want to achieve? The problem with many people, they want to do 10 things at a time. And you cannot do 10 things. That means your energy will be dissipated here and there, so you're not giving the right focus for that thing, because those thoughts need a focus to grow. That energy need to focus on that thought to grow and become a thing. And this is why start with a clear goal, what you want to come, then build that self-image or that desire, the person you want to become, see yourself, you already had achieved it on a daily basis, then you can keep it going. And there's other techniques normally I use to start building my own confidence, why I can do this, and why nothing should be stopping me. The other
Exactly.
thing, yeah, the other thing I think about the self-image I mean, self-image, maybe we discussed that, Paddy, she explained too. But you see, well, what sometimes people, they're afraid, maybe you mentioned it, that for the person they want to become. And this could be something holding the people back, that the new person I want to become. And maybe I will share it with you first time, Paddy. Sometimes what I found out in myself, what was holding me back in my coaching business, I was unconsciously afraid to become a celebrity, a well-known person. So in a way, although I'd like to help people and talk to them, but being, involved in that thing, so this is indirectly was holding me back. So till I found that, then I started, developing the right script for the self-image for the person I want to become. Last thing, then I'll give it to you, Paddy. Seema, you need to watch your self-talk, what you are telling yourself, because some of the words you were mentioning, you are the one who's creating unconsciously the challenge for you, because you said it is so challenging, it is so difficult. So, I mean, you build that belief, it is challenging. So it will take me a lot of efforts. Although we always tell to people, you need to have a strong faith and surrender. Because the moment you start surrendering and having that strong faith, everything will work out for me. And really everything, you can look back in your life, everything worked out. Sometimes you were stressed, sometimes you are not, but it is working out. So why the heck? Maybe a small story. What was happening yesterday, some incident happens to me. I was so stressed. And then again, at the end, I achieved the results I want. Then I thought, why the heck I spent 24 hours stressing for nothing? And I know at the end is going to work out, because everything is going to work out. So, yeah. So, Paddy, if you want to add, or Seema.
Well, Seema, what do you think about what Mohammad just said?
I agree with what he said. Actually, it's the self-talk, because managing the self-talk is also a reflection of our thoughts and what do we think about ourselves. And it might be easy to achieve it, but maybe if I say it's challenging or it's difficult, then it's really gonna be hard. In addition, maybe other problem that maybe I usually have, that I overestimate of the things I want to do. Like I have a long list on my journal that I want to achieve, and maybe that also makes it harder. Maybe I should start easy, or I should break down things to think, to a size that's achievable size, I would say.
That is a challenge for so many people, Seema. And the negative, so-called negative self-talk, this is a pandemic. This is an epidemic around the world. We're all like this. And and also it's very common, because I know you well, and you are an achieving woman. You like to achieve, and you've achieved a lot in your life. And Seema has triplets. 3 boys. Can you imagine? 3 13-year-old boys? Oh my goodness gracious. My father would say there's a special place in heaven for you, dear. So
everyone says that.
Yeah, well, and to still have the desire to achieve. I think one thing, now maybe I'm going to rock the boat a little bit here. First of all, before I rock the boat, I want to say that we don't have to do this. It doesn't have to be like a great big mountain that we have to climb every day. We take, when I lived in New York, there was an expression, Paddy, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yeah.
So we just take one bite at a time. And, after a couple of million bites, there won't be an elephant anymore, and you will have accomplished it. So that's one thing, that we don't have to do everything all at once. And I think especially, Seema, for people like all three of us on this call, we're intelligent people and we are achievers, and we want it now, because why not? We can see it, why? So I think that we have to cut ourselves a little slack, as they say, and just take one bite at a time. The other thing is, and this is where I could rock the boat. Yes, we must be persistent every day. Yes, we should do our writing every day. But you know what? This weekend, I'm telling this now, it's live on Facebook. I'm really tired. I've been working so hard. I've had so much on my plate. I'm reading novels this weekend. I'm not studying. I'm reading Elif Shafak's latest novel, and I can't wait to get into it. I'm going to go to Marina in Dubai because that's where I want to live. I am not picking up Napoleon Hill. I'm not picking up Bob Proctor, whom I love with all my heart and soul. I'm going on a vacation in my little old mind, so that when I come back to reality on Sunday, I'm going to be refreshed, and I'm going to give space between my thoughts, and I'm going to allow myself to dilly-dally and take off some of this achieving, because you know, every day you promise yourself that you will continue and you will show up every day. I do show up every day, and I don't want to show up this weekend. So I hope I'm not upsetting anyone, but I'm going on a little itty bitty vacation. My brain is tired. My body is tired. My emotions are tired. Everything's tired. I've been busy. So I think that these little, and what are they calling it now? Workations, or you take a little vacation from your work. And I'm just going to do it. And I decided that this afternoon, because here I was, serenity, come to serenity. And I thought, girl, you are so tired. This is why you're short-tempered. You're just tired. Stop. I teach until tomorrow around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I don't go back until Sunday.
Yeah, that's a good plan. Yeah, everyone needs it. I think, because whenever we put a plan for ourselves that we want to achieve this, and this is our plan, and sometimes we fail to perform or execute our plans, so it becomes a bit of blaming at night. I haven't done this, I haven't done that, and I think that's what's tiring us also on our life.
Yeah,
sure.
I think so. And when we don't always accomplish, what we wanted, then you're right, we blame ourselves. And then what does that do to our self-image? What does that do to our self-esteem?
Yeah, it destroys it. Yeah.
So I don't know what you think about that, Mohammad, but this girl won't be around the computer much this weekend.
This is the right decisions you're taking, and I fully support it.
Really,
I think you need to take a break. I mean, because we're working together, I can see the last few weeks for you were really too much. I mean, for me, I would not do it, but I mean, you are the Iron Woman.
No, it's because I'm establishing myself in a foreign country and launching the business, and then working my own business. You're right, and it's part of my paradigm of got to do this, got to do it, can't, and I need to take my own lessons. Sometimes we teach best what we most need to know. And I need to just take my own lessons. And when it hit me today, like, no, I'm not working. I'm not reading. I got all these books here that ready to, no, I'm reading a novel. I like the Turkish writer Elif Shafak. She's one of my favorite writers. I can get lost in her novels. And I will watch, I don't care if it's stupid shows. I was thinking there's a Seinfeld show, if you ever know the comedy from New York, Seinfeld.
Yes.
Where
It's funny.
They're doing Serenity Now, right? And every time, and it's George's father, and he's always uptight. And so they have this, whenever they start getting uptight, they go, Serenity Now. And I was thinking today, Serenity Now, which is not very serene, but I think I'm going to watch it and have a good laugh. And I think it's really important. And I'll come back, as I say, and I'll be ready to go again.
This is awesome.
Great.
This is quite good, really. All right.
Okay.
So I think by today we'll close our event. For people on the Facebook, we had left our contacts. Anyone would like to reach us for questions, for 30 minutes laser coaching calls, feel free. You can connect with us anytime. We're here really to serve you and help you.
And may I extend that to Seema to have a chat with you? I mean, she talks to me all the time, but can we extend that if she chooses to have a chat with you about the program? And because I think that you bring a really important perspective to Seema. I don't know, Seema, I don't want to speak for you, but I mean, I'll come on.
Yes, sure.
Too, but
sure. I'd love to, to hear if the time is okay.
Well, you set up the time.
Yeah, I'm available. I will drop you a note with my contacts. Then we'll take it from there. So you can pick up a time and we can set up a call. Absolutely.
Great.
Okay. Well, thank you, Seema, for showing up for us this evening. And thank you, of course, to our Facebook audience. And Mohammad, it's always such a thrill to work with you. I enjoy it. We're very different in our approach, but I think we're very compatible.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed working with you, Paddy, and looking forward for our next event.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a great evening, great morning, great afternoon, wherever you are.
And Bahrain, yeah.
Yeah.
Bahrain, yeah.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you next week, my dear.
Yes, take care. Thank you all
Thank you.
for the session. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bye-bye.